All right, everybody, we're going to be taking a look at the client side of this program, and I just want to make sure it's clear that these are two separate sketches. One's a client, one's a server. They need to be saved as separate folders, and that's basically the main part of the story about that. They can be on different computers, they could be anywhere, but we'll talk about the client first. So, in the client or the server, you got to make an import statement, which will draw in the .NET library. It is not required to download any kind of library. It's a library that is locally already available. It just isn't included by default because most programs in processing don't need to access the internet, so it's left out. But it is a core part of the processing language, so you don't have to download or import any libraries like that. Oops, I not sure what I did there. I moved the comment. So let's take a look. First thing we need to know, I guess, is the import statement. Second thing is we're going to make a client variable. The client variable, I'm going to just refer to it as my client, will represent a software handle on all the ways that we're going to communicate with the server. So whenever we want to send messages or receive messages, we'll be using this my client variable. So that's basically what that does. I also have a string for the incoming message just to record messages that are coming in from a server. And it's a string. Strings we haven't talked about too much. Strings are a kind of variable that store text. They always use quotations, double quotes here. So, for example, we're initializing incoming. Here's an empty string. There's nothing in it. If you want to initialize it to Bob, then you can just type text in between the two quotes. And there's more to find out about strings. We're going to be talking about that a fair bit. And strings are actually a huge part of computer programming, useful for all sorts of things. So this will give us an opportunity to start looking into that topic, which is very exciting. I'm excited, anyways. I hope you are too. Anyways, back to all this client stuff. So those are our two variables we're going to be using, and then we just initialize incoming to an empty string to start with, and then here's our instantiation statement. So our instantiation statement basically is you get all typical new keyword stuff, and then you need to give it three parameters, and I'll just explain what these things are. The this keyword refers to this sketch, so the entire sketch is going to be connected to this client, so that we can refer to it from within this sketch. So it's nothing fancy, it's just referring to our sketch, this sketch. The next piece of information is really important. It's the IP address. And if you're just working on your own machine, like I am, I have this program, the client, and then the server over here, they're both on the same computer, then you can use what's called the local address or the home address. This IP address represents yourself internally. You can always refer to this IP address to contact yourself. It's a famous one. There's all sorts of memes. I have one somewhere up here. Yeah, there's no place like this number is it's referring to an English saying there's no place like home. So that's your home address in the internet. Every computer can find itself by using that IP address. It's not my actual IP address though, and if you would like to experiment a bit with this in the future, then you can look up your own IP address or someone else's IP address and connect to them that way. So if I was trying to connect to somebody in another computer, I would replace this information with their IP address. The last piece of information is the port number. So a port number basically is referring to a number that every computer. I guess let me start again. There's a whole bunch of ports. This is clearly 1,234. There's many. There's many more than 1,000. And your network card basically needs to know how to direct the internet traffic to the different applications that are running. Is this Chrome that needs to access the internet? Is this League of Legends? All these different computer programs want to use the network card or the Wi-Fi card to communicate over the internet. So the way it divvies that information up is it gives each piece of software a port number that it's going to connect to. So we're going to use 1234. It's not a very exciting port number, but it's guaranteed not to be in use by another program. I guess I shouldn't say guaranteed, but it's very unlikely that's being used by another program. Anything that's 1024 and below, there might be some conflicts in there. But if you just use 1234, nothing else is using 1234 on your computer. 99.99999% sure of that. And if for some reason it doesn't work, change it to 1235 or something, I guess, to cover that other possibility. This port number is pretty important. It has to be the same on both different programs. So later on, you'll see the My Server creation as well. So this is saying, like, I'm going to connect on port 1234. They both have to have the same number. So that's the instantiation statement for this My Client object. So remember to give it this. For now, you can just use the home address, but in the future, you could connect somebody else by typing in their IP address. And then the port number, just use 1234 for everything for now, and you won't go wrong. There's no reason not to use 1234 for every project we're going to do in the course. Okay, moving on down. This is all we need to really do for setup. It's not a long program. So here we are in our draw function. We're basically just drawing a white background, and then with black text, we're just printing the incoming string towards the top of the program, in the middle towards the top. So at the beginning of the sketch, incoming is, it's not much. It's an empty string. Pardon my yawn. It's I guess late at night for me. Well, not that late, but late enough that I'm yawning. That's basically going to print nothing when we first start the sketch. And then, check it out. This is one of the things that the MyClient object can do. It has the available function. So this just checks to see if a message has been sent by a server. So MyClient.available will tell you how many messages are waiting for you on the server. And so if it's greater than 0, that means we got a message. So then you can do myClient.readString. All information is going to be transferred across the network, or the internet, I guess, by strings. So you're going to read in a string of text, and that'll be the message that was sent from the other side, from the server. And I'm going to just set incoming to that message. So incoming start off as an empty string, but once I get sent a message from the server, we'll put the message here, and then every time, of course, this is in a loop, so then all of a sudden it'll stop saying nothing, and it'll start saying whatever the incoming message was. So that's the draw function. And this is an important piece of information to understand. This is how I get messages. This is the way I listen for messages. I'm checking for messages here. Hey, do I have a message? Hey, do I have a message? Hey, do I have a message? You're going to constantly be checking that every frame. And then if I do have a message, this is how I get the message. MyClient.readString. And we're going to look at more sophisticated programs where we can do more with these incoming messages and outgoing messages as well. But this is a good first start. So we know now how to check for messages, how to retrieve our messages. How about how to send messages? So that's, again, using the MyClient variable. It's myClient.write. And I'm just going to write hello. And we can be more sophisticated. Eventually, we'll make a program where we could type a message and send it across the internet. But right now, I'm just sending hello. Just sending hello. Again, you basically can do these things. You can check availability messages, you can read in messages, and you can send messages. That's the three things that a client can do, really. So yeah, pretty good, right? That's the whole program right there, and that accounts for all of the client's features. On the other side is the server. So I'm going to stop the video there. I'll go over the server on a third video, and then we'll wrap it all up in a fourth video that kind of compares the two, and summarizes all this stuff. Okay, so thanks for watching the client video. We'll see you over in the server video. Whoop whoop.